Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video we are going to be doing a event math overview of Sunfire's Solar Sizzler event milestones. There's 4 milestones in total. We're going to be going over that and talk about how the math lines up for you to be able to maximize your Sunfire shards and, of course, get the Cloak of Valor. I believe it's the item that is going to be for the month-long July Mighty Thor event. So we're going to start off by taking a look at that before we jump into the Sunfire event itself. So, if you're ready to go, then let's boil this down. And of course, I kind of want to start off here as well. So this is kind of from the blog post on Friday. So if you guys remember that I had all the information here, this is where I get all my stuff from. But of course, everything is subject to change. And one thing I do want to point out very quickly is that there are Phantom X rewards. So I only have the Sunfire shards listed. There are a lot of different rewards here. If you want to know entirely what you're going to get, then do look at the blog post, because that's where I get all my information from. Anyways, but one thing I also do want to say, and we'll show this later on in the milestone, these later milestones are very, very whaley. And we're going to take a look at that when we look at the math. It doesn't line up very well, and that's really unfortunate. This is probably the one event that I would say, as far as total milestone points go, I think is one of the most whaliest milestone character events to date. And I have this. I was going to show this at the beginning of each of my math videos because I thought it was funny. This next part is subject to change. So everything related to the math, while I do it accurately, you know, there is a chance that, you know, when this event goes live, you know, on Thursday, that very well something might have changed. But, you know, I hope that it doesn't and that this stays accurate. So I want to start here with the Summer of Thunder event July long. I to some degree, I've just kind of copy and pasted this from the Rolling Rebel June with a little bit of changes here. So this is what we know so far. Of course, it's very like the previous months where it's 50,000 points to clear it entirely. We're going to get 180 Mighty Thor shards. And we're going to get 100 shards at 29,500, and then 180 most likely at 45,200 here. It's 1 point for, you know, the Mjolnir fragments. These are the new things that you're collecting. And we're going to get the Cloak of Valor in the first Sunfire event that's starting, which is what we're covering here today, which is worth 6,000 points. Just like the other months, there's 6,000 points, 8,000, and a 10,000. And I assume that the 10,000 point item is going to come from the Thor. I forget what they called it, the name of the event. It's in the blog post, but essentially it's the Thor movie costume. That's what I assume is going to happen, but maybe not. And so none of this is really super important at this point. I just wanted to show people that I've kind of laid it out already, and you know, I'm going to start creating that new subtotal for the month of July. So let's talk about the Sunfire Solar Sizzler event. It's tough. It's tough in the sense that the numbers are very high, and how you get to these numbers is challenging a little bit. There's some wiggle room, but not that much wiggle room if you want to get to the Cloak of Valor milestone, which is one of the most important ones, because that's essentially the last milestone that you're going to get points for the July as it funnels into the Mighty Thor milestone. So let's start from the top. So it is an 8-day milestone. This is a solo milestone. I mean, they're of course going to sell you offers and stuff to make progress on this, but let's look at it from the start. 200,000 milestone points is what you require to complete it. Now, I put this in red because it's severely crackeny, and as we go through the rest of the points, you'll see how it's almost impossible to get to 200,000. Now, the total milestone points that you need to clear this, hypothetically, minus the other milestones, is 160,000. So you do get 40,000 points, give or take, from the other 2 milestones. We'll see that down below as well. And so that will get added on as we get closer to the Cloak of Valor milestone, which you need 85,000 points to obtain this milestone. That's essentially 43% through the milestone. So to give you an idea of what you need to get to clear that, you're not even halfway through the milestone, and you know, it's quite challenging even to get this far. So the rest of the 50% of the milestone above 100k is quite challenging. So the total Mjolnir fragments that are available in this event is 930, but the cloak is worth 6,000, so it's kind of like 6,930. There's a total of Sunfire shards of 210. However, 75 of them are blocked behind the last milestone, which is very crackety, so you're probably not going to... You're definitely 99.5% of the player base is not going to get that. Otherwise, you're going to have 135 shards here for Sunfire, which you can obtain at 102,000. And that's approximately 51% through the milestone. The reason why I have these percentages here is just kind of for talking points, I guess you could say, and kind of to give you an idea of how far along or how much it's worth. But if you want to just unlock Sunfire, which is a 45 shard unlock, then you're going to be looking at 43,500, which is approximately 22% through the milestone. And this is fairly achievable, actually. How you get points, of course, is through battling in war, battling in raids, and spending power cores. And battling in war with Darkhold. So if you haven't pulled your Darkhold off of war defense, if you're running them, please do that, because you're going to get a significant amount of extra points. I'm not going to go as far as saying it's essential, but if you do want to get to this Sunfire milestone that I talked about, the 102,000, to get the 135 shards for him, then you're going to want to use your Darkhold, because that's really going to contribute to extra points for that. So you get 500 points for just any battle in war. Now, this is a win or a loss, not a combat cancel. So try to limit the amount of combat cancels that you're going to be doing in the wars for that week. You're going to get 200 points for using a Darkhold character, and then you're going to get additional points if they're Gear 13 or Gear 15. 400 extra per person if they're G13, and then 400 per person if they're G15. So not G16, they don't have that anymore. Now we're going to talk about the raid battles. So you get 200 for a raid battle. This might be a bit conservative of me, because I'm saying that if you do 16 daily raid battles, that's 8 across both raids, both the beta raid and the Doom raid, of course, whatever you're doing, right, your main raid. That's 8 each, that you're going to get 3,200 points for this. Some people may do more. Some people may do less. This is just kind of an average that I built. And so that over 8 days is worth about 25,600 points, or roughly equivalent to 13% of the entire milestones. So just give you an idea of how much these things are worth comparatively. Now, spending power cores, you get 3 points per power core. I'm only spending about 200 cores per day, but some people may do more. So if you're spending 200 cores daily for 8 days, you're going to get about 4,800 points. If you're doing 400 cores daily, then you're going to get double that, right? And so you're going to get a little bit more. In terms of what this is worth, it's only worth about 2% of the entire milestone, which is very small. Even comparatively to the raid figures, is pretty low. Unless, again, you want to up your spending, and that might kind of make up for some of the other things if you don't get there. But you need to kind of figure out early on, how many power cores are you willing to spend on a daily basis. I do want to say that, of course, spending power cores means more XP towards your level 90. So if you do want to do it, I don't feel bad about it. But of course, we have the Valkyrie event coming not too long, in a couple of weeks, anyways. In terms of the battles for war, I have it over here. So 10 full battles over 3 wars, that's 30 war battles, you're going to get about 15,000 points. Now, I know you can go up to 14, but I know that some people don't do that, so I just decided on 10, because that's the free-to-play number without spending your extra resources. And that's roughly equivalent to 8%. Now, if you do a full G15 Darkhold battle, you're actually getting 5,000 points just for that. However, it's only once per war, and if you do this 3 times, over the course of the week, I'm assuming that you're only going to get 3 wars. I don't know. Maybe some people might get 4, depending on the way that the time zones are. Let me know in the comments down below. I'll be honest, I didn't actually check each of the different time zones for that, or the war zones for that, but I'm doing this based on 3 wars. If that's inaccurate, then feel free to let me know. 3 full G15 Darkhold battles is equivalent to 15,000, which is interesting because that's actually the same as all of the other war battles combined. So you can see how important that Darkhold on offense is super important to the points. So I've added up all of this. I've added up the points from war, the points from Darkhold, the points from power cores, and the points from raids, and you get about 60,400 points. And you can see how that's kind of important. We get about 20,000 for the other 2 milestones, and we'll take a look down below how you're going to achieve that. But if you add up even just these 3 numbers here, you're getting about 101,000 or something. It's very, very close to the number that you need for the 135 shard milestone. So what that tells me is that if you do a couple of extra raid battles, if you spend a couple of, a little bit of extra power cores, that'll get you there. But you can see how important that if you don't have G15 Darkhold, that you're probably not getting to that 102,000 milestone, because you're going to be short like a good 10 to 15,000 points, depending on whether or not you have Darkhold available or not. So it actually makes a significant difference total to that sort of goal, and especially if you want to get to that 85,000 point goal, which is for the Cloak of Valor. So let's talk about the Heat Storm milestone. This is the Cosmic Crucible one, and this is kind of interesting. So it is a 4-day milestone solo for Cosmic Crucible. Let's zoom in a little bit more here. I should have moved myself to the right-hand corner, my bad. So it's 20,000 milestone points that you're required to get to this. You're going to get 20,230 points for the Solar Sizzler milestone. It's a weird number. Pretty sure I added that up correctly. If not, you can also let me know in the comments down below. In order to get points for this, you get 1,000 per winning a Cosmic Crucible battle. And I want to say, because this is a 4-day milestone and this starts well, this is going to be basically the whole weekend, the Friday to the Monday, to do your Cosmic Crucible battles. There's only 18... There's 6 rooms, right? And there's 3 battles, which means that there's a total maximum of 18 Cosmic Crucible battles. So if you watched one of my previous videos, I mentioned that you probably should, take away your Cosmic Crucible defense so that just everyone has a bit of an easier time. And if they don't happen to do that, then that gives you more offense to play with so that you can win. It's super important to get those KOs and get that win and clear the room, because you're going to get 1,000 points every time you do that. And if you do that for all 18 battles, that's 18,000. But if you notice that you need 20,000, so you're still missing 2,000, even if you KO all of your rooms for the first 3 or for all the 3 battles. And how you're going to do that and how you're going to make up the difference is by using Unlimited X-Men. And the good thing here, though, is that it doesn't matter really what gear tier they are. They can be higher, but they don't have to be. So you get points for just battling in Cosmic Crucible with Unlimited X-Men, which means it doesn't matter if they're level 50, level 75, or whatever they happen to be. They could be level 1. You just need to throw in a fodder battle. They can die, and you're going to get 1,000 points per member of the Unlimited X-Men. If you have Gambit, Dazzler, and Phantom X, that's who I'm probably going to have. That's 3,000 points per Crucible just for throwing at them. So what's good about that is that if you do that every Crucible battle, then that'll give you 9,000 points, actually, without even gearing them up. And that kind of alleviates the amount of pressure that you need to win on the other battles. So if you take 20,000, you minus 9,000, that's 11,000, which means you only need to clear 11 rooms out of a possible 18 over the weekend. So that makes things a little bit more palatable on that regard. But it's going to be really important, because the amount of milestone points that you're getting for the main Solar Sizzler point, that 20,000, is super necessary in order to get to the goals like the Cloak of Valor and the additional Sunfire shards. So make sure that you're doing that, because it's really important. Don't pay too much attention to the gear tiers on the Unlimited X-Men. If you happen to have this, that's great. But remember, take them off defense, because you're only going to get the points if you use them offensively, not defensively. It's the same for Darkhold. So Darkhold, Unlimited X-Men, make sure you pull them off your roster and you're using them for offense. It's super important. Now, finally, we have the Blazing Sun milestone. Now, this is a 2-day, I had question mark, but it is a 2-day Blitz milestone that's going to be happening on the back of the Cosmic Crucible milestone. So this will probably be on Monday at store reset time, I imagine. And this comes after Heat Storm. The total milestone points required for this is also 20,000. The amount of Solar Sizzler points is 20,100. Again, some really weird numbers here. You get 60 points for a Blitz win if you do it on manual, but God, I do not recommend doing this. It's not enough difference in points. The reason why they do this is for people who don't have Blitz Sim activated, so they can still get points that way. But you get 50 points for a Blitz Sim win. So all of this is with the assumption that you're going to be Blitz Simming. And you do get additional points for Wakandans, but it's not significant. You get 20 per Wakandan character, and then more if they're Gear 13 or 15. Frankly, other than Shuri, none of my characters are Gear 15. They're all like G12. So if you have extra Wakandans that are higher gear tier, great. It might actually alleviate like maybe one rotation if you use your 25, 25, 25, 50, 50, that kind of thing for over the 2 days, then you might alleviate like one rotation. But otherwise, the total Blitz Sims that you need for this is 400. And that's just basically taking the number of 20,000 and divide it by 50, and that's what you get. And so because it's a 2-day milestone, I have suggested that if you have 35 teams and you win 35 times, it's going to be about 11 and a half rotations that you're going to have to do over these 2 days. If you separated it within the 2 days, that's like 5 to 6 rotations daily, which is A bit intense, I admit, if you're not using Wakandan characters, but, you know, we haven't had a Blitz crazy event for a while. It's only 2 days, so hopefully we can get through that. And then otherwise, if you're, you know, this is how we know it's a 2-day event, because it's, you know, days required. We just took the 11.4, divided it by 8, and we get 1.4. So, yeah, it's definitely clearable. It's just going to be a little bit intense for you to get that done. But again, super important that you do it, because you're going to get 20,000 Sizzler points to go towards the main Sunfire milestone, which again, you're going to need for not only the Cloak of Valor, but more Sunfire shards. And finally, we have the web milestone that's going to be every single day. Not much to talk about here. I'm probably not even going to post it on my Discord, but you need to spend 400 campaign energy a day to clear that, and I think you get some silver promotion credits and some legacy orbs or something like that. So I just wanted to point that out really quickly at the end here. But I want to kind of show you how, like, if you add all that up, you know, the 60,000, you might be able to get a little bit more if you squeeze in more raid battles or spend a little bit more power cores or what have you. But at the end of the day, you know, you're not going to get significantly more. I would say somewhere between 60,000 and 70,000 from all of the stuff here, and then plus the 20,000 each from the other milestones. So realistically, you're probably capping out at about 110,000. I honestly don't think you're going to get much more than that. So what are you missing by not getting the rest of the milestones? And you can see that here. Is that it might be hard to see on my video here, but there are other milestones. There's 4 other milestones: 117,000, 136, 161, and 200. And all of these are out of range for most players, like 95% or more of players. You're not going to get this, but you're not really missing out on much. You're missing on some SBCs, some T2 Ion orbs, some Armory orbs, and the Sunfire shards is the main thing. I know you get 75 Sunfire shards and an Elite 5 orb. So you are missing some stuff, but this is for the whales and the krakens who want to do more, maybe buy some offers along the way, or they're just spending a lot of money in general. And that's nothing new, because we've seen that time and time again on various events. I just wanted to outline what you are missing and what you're not. It's unfortunate that the majority of us are, 99% of us are not going to get a 4-star Sunfire. We're going to cap out at a 3-star Sunfire, free to play. But we shouldn't expect any different. Unlimited X-Men has been a team that's been bogged down by lots of 3 stars or 2 stars, you know, Gambit and Dazzler. Phantom X was the only real friendly release, I guess you could say, because it was a campaign event. So that's the end. If you guys want to share this with your alliance or anything like that, this will be available on my Discord, as it usually is, a couple hours after the video. For those of you who are gung-ho and watch this video very early on, that's why you might not see it, so that people don't skip the video. And so I post this usually about 4 or 5 hours after it goes live on YouTube. So if you want to see the spreadsheet, that's where you'll find it. So until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.